The warm Pacific breeze carried the scent of jasmine and salt water as newlyweds, Emma Rodriguez and Jake Thompson, walked hand in hand along the pristine beach of Mazunte, Mexico, on the evening of February 14, 2021, completely unaware that this romantic Valentine's Day stroll would be their last together. Emma, a 26-year-old marine biology graduate from San Diego, had chosen this remote Oaxacan coastal village for their honeymoon specifically because of its reputation as a sea turtle sanctuary and its untouched natural beauty that promised the perfect backdrop for their new life together. Jake, a 28-year-old photographer from Portland, had been documenting every moment of their week-long honeymoon with his professional camera equipment, capturing candid shots of Emma laughing in the surf, collecting shells, and marveling at the bioluminescent plankton that lit up the waves at night. That evening, they had enjoyed a quiet dinner at a beachfront restaurant where the owner, Maria Santos, would later remember them as the happiest couple she had ever served. With Emma wearing a flowing white dress and Jake constantly photographing her radiant smile. Where are you reading from? Share your city and country in the comments before we continue this story. The couple had mentioned to Maria their plans to watch the sunrise from the secluded Punta Cometa headland the next morning, a 45-minute walk along the beach that local fishermen had recommended as the most spectacular viewpoint on the entire Oaxacan coast. When they failed to return to their eco-lodge by noon on February 15th, and their bed remained unslept in, the lodge manager contacted local authorities who initially assumed the couple had simply extended their romantic getaway or had moved to another hotel without checking out properly. However, when their rental car was found untouched in the lodge parking lot and their passports and money remained in their rooms safe, the realization dawned that something terrible had happened to the honeymooning Americans. 3 years later, in a discovery that would finally shed light on their mysterious disappearance, a local fisherman would pull up something from the depths of the Pacific that would reveal the truth about what happened during those final hours and transform this love story into one of the most haunting mysteries of the Mexican coast. The search operation that followed the couple's disappearance became one of the most extensive missing persons investigations in the history of Oaxaca, involving Mexican Navy ships, Coast Guard helicopters, local fishermen's cooperatives, and volunteer divers from across North America who descended upon the small village of Mazunte. Detective Inspector Carlos Herrera from the Oaxaca State Police coordinated the massive effort, which initially focused on the coastal waters and nearby cliffs, where the couple was last believed to have been heading. But the Pacific Ocean's powerful currents and the rocky, treacherous coastline made search efforts extremely challenging. Emma's parents, David and Susan Rodriguez, flew to Mexico within 24 hours of learning about the disappearance, working closely with the U.S. consulate in Oaxaca City and hiring local guides who knew every inch of the coastline between Mazunte and the neighboring towns of Zipolite and Puerto Escondido. Jake's family from Portland organized fundraising campaigns to finance additional search equipment, including underwater drones and sonar scanning devices that could penetrate the murky coastal waters where visibility was often limited to just a few feet due to sediment and algae. The search revealed the dangerous nature of the Punta Cometa area, where powerful rip currents, hidden rocks, and sudden drop-offs into deep water created a perfect storm of hazards for inexperienced swimmers or anyone who might fall from the clifftop paths. Local residents shared stories of other tourists who had underestimated the ocean's power in this region, and several fishermen reported seeing unusual wave patterns on the morning of February 15th that suggested a particularly strong underwater current system had been active in the area. Despite deploying teams of professional rescue divers, marine biologists familiar with local ocean patterns, and even psychics who claimed to sense the couple's presence, no trace of Emma and Jake was found after 3 weeks of intensive searching. The investigation expanded to include interviews with every resident of Mazunte, reviews of security cameras from nearby businesses, and analysis of weather and ocean condition data from the time of their disappearance. But each lead eventually reached a dead end. The couple's story captured international media attention, with news outlets from the United States, Mexico, and beyond following every development, while social media campaigns kept their faces and story visible to millions of people worldwide who hoped for their safe return. The years following Emma and Jake's disappearance were marked by the family's relentless determination to find answers and their gradual acceptance that their loved ones were likely lost to the unforgiving Pacific Ocean. But they never stopped hoping that some trace of the couple would eventually surface to provide closure. Emma's parents established the Rodriguez-Thompson Foundation for Ocean Safety, which funded improved safety signage, emergency communication equipment, and rescue training programs in small coastal communities throughout Mexico, where tourists often ventured into dangerous waters without understanding the risks. The foundation also supported marine biology research in the area where Emma and Jake disappeared, hoping that better understanding of local ocean currents and underwater topography might eventually reveal what happened to their children or help prevent similar tragedies. Jake's photography business was transformed into a memorial archive by his parents, with his existing work being sold to fund search operations and safety initiatives, while his unfinished projects served as a poignant reminder of the artistic dreams that had been cut short by the ocean's fury. Every year on February 14th, both families returned to Mazunte to hold a memorial service on the beach where Emma and Jake were last seen, joined by local residents who had been touched by the couple's story and the family's dedication to improving coastal safety for future visitors. The restaurant owner Maria Santos became an unofficial guardian of their memory, keeping a table permanently reserved with fresh flowers and photos of the couple, while sharing their story with new visitors as a gentle reminder to respect the ocean's power. Local fishermen incorporated the search for Emma and Jake into their daily routines, always keeping an eye out for any debris, clothing, or personal items that might have been carried by the currents from that tragic Valentine's Day morning 3 years earlier. The case remained technically open with Mexican authorities, and Detective Inspector Herrera continued to follow up on occasional reports of items washing ashore or sightings that might be connected to the missing couple, though most leads proved to be false alarms or coincidences. Emma's research notebooks and Jake's photography equipment remained in their honeymoon suite, which the Eco Lodge preserved as a shrine while donating the room's rental income to the foundation established in their memory, creating a living memorial that honored their passions for science and art. On March 8, 2024, exactly 3 years and 3 weeks after Emma and Jake's disappearance, veteran fisherman Aurelio Mendoza was checking his nets approximately 2 miles offshore from Mazunte when he spotted something unusual floating among the kelp and debris that often accumulated in the coastal currents. Initially appearing to be just another piece of tourist trash that the ocean occasionally returned to the surface, closer inspection revealed a waterlogged but intact photo album wrapped in what appeared to be the remnants of a waterproof camera bag that had somehow survived years of saltwater exposure. Aurelio, who had participated in the original search for the missing couple and had known their story intimately, immediately recognized the potential significance of his discovery and carefully retrieved the album before heading directly back to shore to contact authorities. When Detective Inspector Herrera examined the contents of the album, he found dozens of photographs that were unmistakably taken during Emma and Jake's honeymoon week in Mazunte, including images of them at the exact restaurant where Maria Santos had served them their final meal, and shots of the couple exploring the very beach paths where they had last been seen alive. The photographs were remarkably well preserved, thanks to the album's protective plastic sleeves and the camera bag's partial waterproofing, and they provided a chronological documentation of the couple's final days that investigators had never possessed before. More significantly, the final photographs in the album showed Emma and Jake at Punta Cometa during what appeared to be the early morning hours of February 15th, with timestamps indicating the pictures were taken between 6:30 and 7:15 a.m., just as the sun was rising over the Pacific horizon. These last images captured the couple in moments of pure joy and intimacy, with Emma pointing excitedly at something in the distance, while Jake photographed both her reaction and the spectacular sunrise that painted the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. However, the final photograph in the album was dramatically different from the others. A blurry, chaotic image that appeared to show churning water and what might have been someone's hand reaching toward the camera, suggesting that something had gone terribly wrong just moments after the peaceful sunrise photos were taken. The discovery of the album immediately reignited the investigation and provided investigators with crucial new evidence about the couple's final hours, while simultaneously bringing both hope and heartbreak to families who had waited 3 years for any sign of their children. The forensic analysis of the recovered photo album revealed crucial details about Emma and Jake's final hours that completely changed investigators' understanding of what had happened on that tragic Valentine's Day morning in 2021. Marine forensics experts determined that the album had been submerged in saltwater for approximately 3 years, and the pattern of barnacle growth and marine organism deposits on the camera bag suggested it had spent most of that time trapped in underwater rock formations before being released by recent storm activity that had stirred up the ocean floor. Digital enhancement of the final photographs revealed that Emma had been pointing at a pod of whales that were visible in the distance, explaining why the couple had ventured so close to the cliff's edge at Punta Cometa to get better photographs of the magnificent creatures that rarely came so close to shore. The enhanced images also showed evidence of unstable ground conditions at the cliff's edge, with visible cracks in the rock face and loose soil that would have been invisible to tourists unfamiliar with the geological hazards of the area, particularly during the early morning hours when lighting conditions made it difficult to assess the safety of the terrain. Analysis of the final chaotic photograph suggested that a section of the cliff had suddenly given way, sending both Emma and Jake tumbling into the ocean at a point where powerful underwater currents would have immediately carried them away from shore and down into the deep Pacific trenches that lay just offshore from Punta Cometa. Ocean current modeling conducted by marine scientists confirmed that anything falling into the water at that specific location during the early morning hours of February 15th would have been swept out to sea within minutes, carried by a combination of tidal forces and deep ocean currents that would have made immediate rescue impossible, even if witnesses had been present. The analysis also revealed that the camera had continued taking photographs for several minutes after the initial fall, capturing underwater images of bubbles, churning water, and briefly, what appeared to be clothing or human forms, before the camera was finally separated from its owners and began its 3-year journey through the ocean depths. Investigators concluded that Emma and Jake had died almost instantly upon hitting the water due to the height of the fall and the violent force of the waves against the rocks below, providing some comfort to their families that their suffering had been brief. The discovery explained why no bodies had ever been recovered despite extensive search efforts, as the deep ocean currents in that area carried debris far out to sea, where it would sink to depths of thousands of feet, well beyond the reach of conventional search and recovery operations. The recovery of the photo album brought a measure of closure to the Rodriguez and Thompson families, while simultaneously opening new questions about coastal safety and the adequacy of warning systems for tourists visiting dangerous natural areas like Punta Cometa. Emma's parents expressed profound gratitude for finally understanding what had happened to their daughter and son-in-law, stating that knowing the truth about their final moments brought peace, despite the tragic circumstances. And they found comfort in the evidence that Emma and Jake had spent their last morning together experiencing the natural beauty they both loved so much. Jake's family similarly found solace in the photographs that showed him doing what he loved most, capturing Emma's joy and the spectacular natural world around them, even in his final moments, and they announced plans to publish a memorial photo book featuring his honeymoon images alongside his earlier work. The local government of Oaxaca responded to the tragedy by implementing new safety measures at Punta Cometa and other dangerous coastal viewpoints, including reinforced barriers, improved signage in multiple languages, and regular geological assessments to identify unstable cliff areas before they could pose risks to tourists. The Rodriguez-Thompson Foundation expanded its mission to include funding for geological surveys and early warning systems at popular coastal destinations throughout Latin America, working with local governments and tourism organizations to prevent similar tragedies from occurring. Maria Santos, the restaurant owner who had served Emma and Jake their final meal, established a memorial garden at her establishment featuring photos from the recovered album and information about ocean safety, creating a place where visitors could learn about the couple's story while enjoying the same spectacular views that had drawn them to their fate. The local fishing community, led by Aurelio Mendoza, who had discovered the album, organized annual memorial fishing expeditions where they would lay flowers on the water above the deep ocean trenches where Emma and Jake were believed to rest, honoring their memory while maintaining hope that the ocean might still yield other traces of their presence. The case became a landmark study in marine forensics and coastal safety, with the recovered photographs being used to develop new protocols for investigating disappearances in maritime environments and improving tourist safety education in coastal communities worldwide. Detective Inspector Herrera used the case as a training example for other investigators, demonstrating how persistence and the ocean's occasional willingness to return evidence could provide answers even years after a tragedy, while emphasizing the importance of never giving up hope in missing persons cases involving water. The international media attention surrounding the discovery of Emma and Jake's photo album sparked a global conversation about the responsibilities of tourism destinations to protect visitors and the need for better education about natural hazards in popular vacation areas. Travel magazines and safety organizations used the couple's story to develop new guidelines for honeymooners and adventure travelers, emphasizing the importance of researching local conditions, hiring knowledgeable guides, and never underestimating the power of natural forces even in seemingly peaceful settings. The photographs from their final morning became powerful teaching tools for coastal safety programs, showing how quickly paradise could turn deadly and how even experienced, educated people could fall victim to hidden dangers when exploring unfamiliar terrain. Universities began incorporating the case into their marine science and tourism management curricula, using the documented evidence of cliff erosion and ocean currents to teach students about geological hazards and the importance of ongoing safety assessments in tourist areas. The story inspired documentary filmmakers and journalists to investigate other coastal destinations where similar risks might exist, leading to improved safety measures and warning systems at beaches and cliffs around the world where tourists regularly venture close to dangerous edges. Environmental organizations used Emma's background as a marine biologist to highlight the irony that someone so knowledgeable about ocean ecosystems could still fall victim to the sea's power, emphasizing that respect for nature's forces must always supersede the desire for perfect photographs or unique experiences. The couple's story became a cautionary tale shared among photography communities, with professional organizations developing new safety protocols for shooting in dangerous locations and emphasizing that no photograph was worth risking human life. Social media campaigns encouraged travelers to share the story with friends and family planning coastal vacations, creating a viral awareness movement that reached millions of people worldwide and potentially prevented other tragedies. The Mexican tourism industry embraced the lessons learned from Emma and Jake's disappearance, implementing new training programs for hotel staff and tour guides that emphasized the importance of educating guests about local hazards and ensuring that safety always took precedence over tourist satisfaction. Their love story, though ending in tragedy, became a symbol of the importance of cherishing every moment with loved ones and the need for constant vigilance when exploring the natural world's most beautiful but dangerous places. 5 years after the discovery of the photo album, Emma and Jake's legacy continued to save lives through the safety initiatives and awareness campaigns that their story had inspired, transforming their tragic honeymoon into a force for positive change in coastal tourism worldwide. The Rodriguez-Thompson Foundation had funded safety improvements at more than 50 coastal destinations across Latin America, installing warning systems, emergency communication devices, and rescue equipment that had already been credited with preventing dozens of accidents and saving multiple lives. Emma's research notes, found among her belongings at the Eco Lodge, were published posthumously in marine biology journals and used to advance understanding of coastal ecosystem dynamics and the relationship between geological stability and marine habitats in areas like Punta Cometa. Jake's photography work gained international recognition through memorial exhibitions that traveled to galleries and museums worldwide, with proceeds supporting both the Foundation's safety initiatives and scholarships for young photographers and marine biologists pursuing careers in environmental documentation and conservation. The couple's story had become required reading in travel safety courses at universities and professional organizations, while their final photographs served as powerful visual reminders of how quickly adventure could turn to tragedy without proper preparation and awareness. Aurelio Mendoza, the fisherman who discovered their photo album, had become an unofficial ambassador for ocean safety, sharing their story with tourists and working with the Foundation to develop educational programs for fishing communities, who often served as first responders in coastal emergencies. The Eco Lodge where Emma and Jake had stayed was transformed into a center for marine safety education, offering courses for tourists, local guides, and hospitality workers on recognizing dangerous ocean conditions and responding to coastal emergencies. Their room had been converted into a memorial library and research center where visitors could learn about marine biology, coastal safety, and the couple's contributions to ocean conservation, creating a living legacy that honored their passions while protecting future travelers. The annual memorial service in Mazunte had grown into an international gathering that brought together families affected by coastal tragedies, safety experts, and tourism professionals committed to preventing similar losses, with attendees participating in beach cleanups, safety demonstrations, and educational workshops that continued the couple's work of protecting both people and marine environments. Punta Cometa itself had been transformed from a hidden danger into a model of coastal safety, with reinforced viewing areas, comprehensive warning systems, and trained guides who shared Emma and Jake's story, while helping visitors safely experience the spectacular sunrises that had drawn the couple to their fate. A decade after their disappearance, Emma Rodriguez and Jake Thompson had become symbols of both the beauty and danger of coastal exploration, with their story continuing to influence safety policies, tourism practices, and environmental education programs around the world. The Rodriguez-Thompson Foundation had evolved into an international organization working with governments, tourism boards, and environmental groups to develop comprehensive safety standards for coastal destinations, having contributed to safety improvements that protected millions of travelers annually. Their final photographs had been incorporated into virtual reality safety training programs that allowed tourists to experience dangerous coastal conditions without physical risk, providing immersive education about wave patterns, cliff stability, and emergency procedures that traditional safety briefings could never achieve. Marine biology programs at universities worldwide featured Emma's research as foundational work in understanding coastal ecosystem vulnerability, while photography schools used Jake's images to teach students about capturing natural beauty responsibly and safely. The couple's story had inspired changes in international travel insurance policies, with many companies now requiring proof of safety training or guided tours for activities in high-risk coastal areas, creating economic incentives for destinations to prioritize visitor protection. Their legacy lived on in the hundreds of young researchers and photographers who had received scholarships from their foundation, many of whom had gone on to become leaders in marine conservation and adventure photography, while maintaining the safety-first principles that Emma and Jake's tragedy had helped establish. The photo album that had finally revealed their fate was preserved in a special display at the Mexican National Museum of Marine History, where it served as both a memorial to their love and a reminder of the ocean's power to both preserve and destroy. Mazunte had become a model coastal destination that balanced natural beauty with comprehensive safety measures, attracting visitors who came not only for the stunning sunrises and marine life, but also to learn about responsible tourism and ocean conservation, in a place where love and loss had created lasting change. The fishing community continued to honor Emma and Jake's memory through annual ceremonies and ongoing participation in coastal safety programs, while Maria Santos's restaurant remained a pilgrimage site for couples who came to experience the same sunset dinners that had marked the couple's final evening together. Their story had transcended tragedy to become an inspiration for responsible travel, environmental stewardship, and the importance of balancing adventure with safety, ensuring that their honeymoon dreams lived on in the safer, more conscious exploration of the world's most beautiful coastal destinations. Today, more than 15 years after that Valentine's Day morning when Emma Rodriguez and Jake Thompson walked hand in hand toward their fate at Punta Cometa, their love story continues to resonate with travelers, conservationists, and safety advocates worldwide who have been touched by their legacy of transforming tragedy into protection for others. The photo album that revealed their final moments remains one of the most powerful pieces of evidence in marine forensics history, having been studied by investigators and scientists who continue to develop new techniques for solving coastal disappearances and understanding ocean preservation of evidence. Their foundation operates in more than 30 countries, having established safety standards and educational programs that are credited with preventing thousands of coastal accidents and creating a new paradigm for responsible adventure tourism that prioritizes protection without sacrificing the wonder of natural exploration. Emma's research continues to influence marine biology and coastal conservation efforts, with her work being cited in climate change studies and ecosystem protection initiatives that help preserve the very environments that tourists come to experience and that ultimately claimed her life. Jake's photography has become iconic in the adventure travel community, with his images serving as both inspiration for exploration and reminders of the importance of respecting the natural forces that create the world's most spectacular destinations. The couple's story is taught in schools around the world as an example of how love, passion, and tragedy can combine to create lasting, positive change, inspiring students to pursue careers in safety, conservation, and responsible tourism. Punta Cometa now features a memorial viewing platform named in their honor, where thousands of visitors each year safely witness the same spectacular sunrises that drew Emma and Jake to their destiny, while learning about ocean safety and marine conservation through interpretive programs that keep their memory alive. The local fishing community has established an annual scholarship program for young people pursuing marine careers, funded by proceeds from tourist donations and memorial fishing trips that honor the couple while supporting the next generation of ocean stewards. Aurelio Mendoza, now elderly but still fishing the waters where he found their album, has become a living link to their story, sharing memories with visitors and journalists who continue to find meaning and inspiration in the enduring power of love to create positive change, even in the face of unimaginable loss. Their honeymoon may have ended in tragedy, but Emma Rodriguez and Jake Thompson's love story continues to unfold through every life saved by improved coastal safety, every marine ecosystem protected by conservation efforts they inspired, and every couple who experiences the beauty of places like Mazunte, while benefiting from the safety measures that their sacrifice helped create, proving that true love transcends death, to become a force for protecting and preserving the world they loved so much.